Hello everyone, my name is Santosh Tripathi and in this video I'm going to discuss some of the very interesting problem from the uh, projectile motion section, and these problems are going to deal with the path optimization, right? So the kind of problems we are going to deal with is having one common thread, or you can say one common conditionalities, although the problems might look somewhat different, but the condition, the final condition, one at least one final condition is going to be same in all of these cases, right? So let's move on to the cases I'm talking about. The first case is very familiar one, right? So in this case, a ball, let's say, is projected with certain given velocity u, making any angle with the horizontal direction, and we have to determine what is the maximum horizontal range, right? So this green path length is we have to determine or optimize, or you can say maximize this length, and we can vary this angle theta. So this result is very obvious. All of you must have done this part. Very easy one. Let's move on to the second figure here. In this second figure, the same situation is given. That means this particle is thrown with a given velocity u, making any arbitrary angle with the horizontal. This angle can be varied, but we have to determine, want to determine what is the maximum range on this incline, right? So let's say this incline is making some angle, some fixed angle alpha. This incline could be making a positive angle with the horizontal or negative angle. It could be this incline could be something like this also, right? So in all of these cases, let's say we want to determine what is the range, what is the maximum range on this project, on this incline, and which kind of path this particle will take for achieving this maximum range, right? So this is the second problem here. The third problem is also the similar kind of problem. So from this red dot, a particle is projected or thrown with a given velocity u. Of course, we can change the angle here, and we want to determine what is the maximum distance from the foot of this height, this green part. What is the maximum value of this green part we can achieve by varying the angles. So all of these problems are looking similar, although if you formulate them, there is going to be some difference, in the equations and all. Also, the fourth problem is not exactly like the first three. Here, let's say we are given two fixed point, and let's say we are given that a particle is projected from this lower red dot, and this particle has to go from this other red dot point, right? So these 2 points on the path of the projectile are given, and you are asked that what is the minimum speed, with which you can accomplish this task, right? So although the fourth problem might look somewhat different, because it is not distance maximization problem on a line, right? But all of these problems are going to have one common result. If you solve these questions, I'm not going to solve all of the questions. You can check the playlist, 1 week challenge playlist. 1 or 2 questions based on these concepts is solved in this on the playlist itself, right? So you can use many different methods to solve all of these problems, but I am here concerned about one common threat or one common result that arrives if you solve this problem. It might be possible that you do not come to that particular result if it is not asked, but that result actually follows. What follows in the optimum condition, or whatever is asked, if you solve for that particular situation, what you will get as a result is the initial and the final velocity vectors are going to be perpendicular for the solution of all of these four parts, right? So in the first part, it is very evident, so you can relate with that. You already know that for the maximum range, for the maximum horizontal range, the angle theta must be equal to 45 degree here. And by the symmetry, when this ball lands at this point, the velocity vector will be making the same angle 45 degree with the horizontal. So here in this first figure, it is clearly evident that the initial velocity and final velocity vectors are making 90 degree with the each other. right? But in all other cases also, this will be followed. If you draw or simply solve for the optimum case, this result will be followed, right? So the final velocity or the velocity at the landing point will be perpendicular to the launch velocity vector, right? So this case will be followed here. So how do we prove this case, or we can use this particular case if you have once you know this result and you want to solve all of these problem, you can use this result alone to solve these problems very easily, right? So let me prove this particular thing in one given case. I'm sure you can follow in all other cases too, right? So let me solve this particular, or let me prove this particular thing for the second figure here, right? So let's do this figure only here, and of course all of the others can be easily solved. First is very clearly evident, you don't need to bother about that, already you know that all of the results, etc. But let me solve the first part, and third and fourth you can do on your own, right? So how do we prove that for this optimum trajectory the initial and final velocities are going to be perpendicular? So let me give you one idea here. So let's say at the launch point, the angle of launch with the horizontal is theta and the angle of incline is alpha. Let me give you an idea here. So let's say this is my coordinate system. This positive horizontal direction is the x direction, or the rightward direction is x. This is y direction. Let's say the point of landing is at point P, where the coordinates can be written as height. Let's say this distance is x, and height will be of course x tan alpha, right, from this triangle here. And you can use this equation of trajectory y equal to x tan theta minus gx square by 2u square cos square theta. If you put the value of y as x tan alpha, and if you want to solve for the maximum distance between this point or the origin and point P, this distance between O and P is going to be equal to x square plus x square tan square alpha, which means this is going to be equal to x root of 1 plus tan square alpha. Here alpha is not variable, so all you want to determine is, if you want to determine the maximum value of OP, you want to solve for maximum value of x, right? So for the maximum value of x, you can say that dx by d theta is going to be 0, and for all of these conditions from the first equation you can determine the value of x and then differentiate it, then you will get the actual value of theta for which this optimum trajectory will be happening, and then using all of that you can surely determine the final velocity vector or the direction of final velocity vector, and you will be able to prove that these are perpendicular, right? So but I'm not going to solve this problem this way. I found this method to be tedious, but if any of you are calculus aficionado, maths aficionado, you can do that. It's not that much of tedious or difficult a problem. You can probably do that, but I want to do it another way. So I want to show this another way here, right? So let's say this is the situation here, the same situation. Now you already know that if a particle is moving with uniform acceleration, I can write the equation of motions in the vector form. And here the particle is projectile, which of course is moving with the uniform velocity, where its uniform acceleration rather, and that uniform acceleration is actually g vector, which is in the vertically downward direction. So I can write the second equation for this motion as displacement vector equal to initial velocity vector into time taken plus half into acceleration vector, which is nothing but g vector, into time taken square, right? So here I have to add these two vectors ut and half g vector t square to get the actual displacement vector. So the particle was initially here, and it reaches at this particular point, right? So displacement will be along this direction, S vector, and I can, write as addition of these two vectors. Here this blue vector is along the u vector direction, so this blue vector is nothing but u vector into t, and this downward vector is nothing but half g vector t square. Of course, its magnitude is going to be half gt square. And this red vector is nothing but my displacement vector. And we have to, maximize the magnitude of this s vector. Of course, since the ball is going to drop on this inclined plane, the direction is going to be same for the s vector. Whether we change the angle of theta also, the direction of s vector is going to remain same. Now what? Now if this particular value of theta, if we keep on varying the value of theta, of course this value of s vector will keep on varying. If I want to draw the graph of s versus theta, right? So let me draw a graph or tentative graph of this magnitude of displacement versus angle, right? If I take the angle theta as equal to alpha, because we cannot take any angle less than alpha. Of course, in this condition, the ball has to, break this inclined plane and go in downward direction. That cannot happen. So of course, we can take the minimum value of theta as equal to alpha. So at the value of alpha, since this velocity is already in the direction of plane, so the point of landing will become actually the point of launch. The ball will start, sliding on the surface. So it will, at the moment you throw, the ball is on the incline. So of course, the displacement is going to be equal to 0 at this point, right? And at the angle, when we take the angle theta as equal to 90 degree, right? In the case when we are actually projecting this projectile in the vertically upward direction, this ball will go up and down. It will land on the same point. So of course, in that case also, the displacement is going to be 0. So here also, the at the angle theta equal to pi by 2, it is going to be 0. And between that point, if we just keep on increasing the value of theta from the angle alpha, let's say the angle is somewhat greater than alpha, let's say this situation here, right? In this situation, there will be some, finite value of s, right? So of course, the value of s is increasing from alpha, and ultimately it has to decrease also, because it becomes 0 at pi by 2. So this graph will be something like that. It's a tentative graph. So it should be something like that. What we are interested in is the point where the value of s is maximum, right? So this is the point we are actually interested in. What happens at this point? If I make a tangent at this point, this tangent will have slope 0, right? So at that point, ds by d theta is going to be equal to 0. What this equation, or what this value is going to tell me about, intuition about this thing here. If I change value of theta, let's say this particular value of theta, when the displacement is maximum, is theta naught. So when the angle of launch is actually equal to theta naught, the range, the value of s is going to be maximum. And if I just, increase or decrease the value of theta very slightly, let's say by angle, very small angle d theta, the change in the value of s is going to be, say, 0, right? Because ds by d theta is 0 at this particular instant. So even if the change in angle is very small change, d theta, the change in the displacement is going to be 0. And if there is no change in displacement, we can say that the point of landing will remain same, that this fixed point here, right? So let's change the angle from this optimum value. Let's say this theta is the actual optimum value for which we are getting the range, maximum range, and let's change this angle of launch by a small angle d theta. Now in this case, this new blue vector is the actual velocity vector, final velocity vector after the change part here. But since this displacement S vector has to remain same because ds part is 0, this red vector will be actually changed in this half gt square part, right? So if I make a perpendicular from this point on this new line here, if you can see that part, this angle is theta, so this part of angle will be actually equal to 90 minus theta. So let me draw this small triangle separately. So here, since this angle is very small angle d theta, we can approximately say that this length and this length is going to be same. So this length is going to be the change part. And since this whole vector was actually equal to ut and we are not changing u, and this length is going to be equal to u times change in the value of time. So this part of length is going to be equal to u dt, right? And let me make this diagram a little bigger. And this red part is in the vertical direction, right? It's in the vertical direction. Here we have drawn a perpendicular. This angle is 90 minus theta. So you can say this angle is actually equal to theta. And this part is actually change in the value of this part here, right? So this whole length is actually equal to, let us call this whole length as y, right? So the value of y is nothing but equal to, value of y is equal to half gt square. And for a differential change, we can write dy will be equal to gt times dt, right? And this part is, this red part or this length is actually the differential change dy, right? So this is length dy. Here in this triangle, at the value, when the value of theta is this equal to theta naught, at the condition of optimum or the maximum displacement s, we can write in this triangle, the hypotenuse is dy, the height is u dt. We can write u dt equal to dy sine theta, right? So of course we can substitute the value of dy from the equation 1. So you will get u dt equals gt dt sine theta. So dt will get cancelled. The value of t comes out to be u by g sine theta. So now we know the time after which this condition will happen, right? For this optimum condition or for this maximum range condition, the time taken by the projectile will be u by g sine theta. Now how do we proceed and prove that at this particular time the velocity vector is perpendicular to initial velocity vector, right? So let us again use the equation of motion for our rescue. Let's write the first equation of motion, the final velocity vector equal to initial velocity vector plus acceleration vector, which in this case is g vector, into time taken t, right? So let's add these two vector u vector and g vector t to get the value of v, right? So this is the vector addition part here. This vector is u vector t. Of course, it is making angle theta with the horizontal direction. And this downward vector is gt, right? So this is g vector t. And since the value of t is equal to u by g sine theta, we can at least write the magnitude of this vector equal to gt will be actually equal to u by sine theta. So magnitude of this downward vector is u by sine theta, right? Okay, one mistake I did. This has to be u vector, not u vector t. This has to be u vector alone, right? In this triangle, and this red vector is nothing but sum of these two vectors, so naturally it becomes final velocity vector v vector. Now we have to prove that this angle is 90 degree. Is there anything to prove, or it just looks proved? How it is proved? Let us say, for the sake of assumption that this angle is 90 degree. So of course this is hypotenuse, this is base. its magnitude is u. So does our assumption make sense here? Of course it does, right? So hypotenuse times, if this angle is theta, clearly, even if we do not assume anything, if this angle is theta, this angle has to be 90 degree, because this is horizontal, this is vertical. This angle will be equal to 90 minus theta. This angle will be 90 minus theta. And if we assume this angle to be 90 degree, this hypotenuse times cos of 90 minus theta has to be equal to this base value. And now it is coming out to be same, right? So this hypotenuse is u by sine theta multiplied by cos of 90 minus theta, which becomes actually sine theta. So now we are getting the value of this base. Of course, now it is proved that this angle will be equal to 90 degree, and you can certainly prove in all of the other cases also that this result actually follows. So if you have to solve one of these questions, what you can do is you can certainly assume that condition to be true, that initial and final velocity vectors are going to be perpendicular to each other. Determine the time, and the time is going to be same. This is a very famous question also, that after how much time the velocity vector of the projectile will be perpendicular to initial velocity vector. So the time comes out to be u by g sine theta, and if you just determine the time after which the optimum condition happens, you can certainly determine the total displacement very easily using the second equation, right? So this is all. Thank you very much.